really. And
Yeah.
I don't know where you posted it on the video, so I can just address the things that you said. I don't know where this is.
Oh, the comments
that you made. Yeah, just so I can address
the comments on the video or the Discord post is what you might be
Discord.
referring to, because I read a couple of them. Okay, in Discord. Yeah. Yeah. You definitely responded right underneath it, so I'm gonna look for your comments. I'm just gonna scroll a little bit. Yeah, okay. Bro, you're either intentionally making arguments that aren't what the video is saying, or you did not listen carefully.
Which tab is this in?
It's Boruto Topics 11:24 at 11:45 a.m.
Okay.
Is the message that I made. Yeah, and it's a couple messages above that as well, obviously. You'd say, "Oh, I should take it from the top." Go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead, read it out
loud. So starting with, Gaara is not in danger of being devoured by Matsuri Kamui.
Yeah. So why'd you say that?
So the point,
go ahead, Kamui. Say it. Say watch the video.
Yes, you need to watch the video. So several points. The first one is, like I mentioned, Jura has switched up his targets for various reasons. Matsuri, in theory, could do the same for her own reasons. What are the reasons I mentioned for maybe this happening? Well, first is, if this assumes that Ryu's actually Shinki in disguise and he's a good guy gonna betray him. Okay, assuming that one theory is true, Matsuri could get mad and basically devour Gaara just to piss off Shinki/Ryu. Understandable. Second, if they defeat Ryu, free Shinki, and Gaara gets freed, as depending on the order of things, Matsuri could then just devour Gaara for shits and giggles. The same way Jura just switches his target. Like, just in a nutshell, the point is, she could just do it out of curiosity, out of anger, whatever her reasoning is. Maybe Konohamaru runs away. The point is, she can devour Gaara. Maybe she saves Konohamaru for last. She decides, you know what? I want to save my target for last. There's plenty of reasons that she can come up with to do this. The point is that Gaara is in danger of being devoured by someone. Whether it's for you.
Oh, I agree, by someone. But not Matsuri.
Okay. But again, Oodie, this is the first sentence of the video. The first sentence of the video. Gaara is in danger of being devoured. Whether it's by Ryu, Matsuri, or someone else, Gaara is the most vulnerable target among the Shinju. I just quoted off the top of my head the first line. That's what I said. So okay.
Okay, I have a couple of contentions with this. I'll go in order of probably least to most, unless I forget or don't think of some till end. But anyways, so least important. None of what you're saying is actually going to happen. Come on. I understand it's a prediction. It's a theory. You do not think it's actually likely that Matsuri is going to devour Gaara. You do not think that's going to happen in the story.
I didn't say that anything is particularly likely. Mostly things that are... Basically, the point is things that have set up that I think would be good. Like, I want it.
I'd say it's so unlikely. I'm confident saying, not going to happen. Matsuri will not devour Gaara.
So, let's start with two things.
I will go on record.
Well, let's start with two things. Because, first of all, that wasn't necessarily the most likely. It's one of 3 or 4 options I gave. But let's start with this. Do you think Gaara will be devoured? Likely or no?
It's 50-50.
Okay. And your answer is, if he's devoured, it will only be by Ryu, I assume, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's your holdup. So, my thing was, someone needs to get devoured. You agree, right? They needed to have one get devoured. Okay.
They should.
As it stands, I'm going to go ahead and say Sarada's off the table. Agree or disagree?
I think Konohamaru could work.
So again, we'll get to it.
But that's my other thing. That doesn't matter. That doesn't
has
matter.
potential, but it can't happen now. Not only is Mamushi kind of irrelevant right now, she has too much she needs to do. You can't do her. No, it won't happen now, if it happens at all. With Konohamaru Gaara, and I work. However, Konohamaru feels more they could do with him, whereas Gaara, there's nothing more to do, at least from what's been established. So he's the easiest pick. He's also the most vulnerable. He literally is not going to do anything. Konohamaru can at least fight or run away. So if I had to pick who's the most vulnerable, it is Gaara.
The reason I don't think it's going to be Ada is because I don't think they should wait that long. If they're going to devour a target, it should be sooner rather than later. They can't just wait on that forever.
That's why I said.
So I think Ada's safe.
Like I said, they did it last arc where Jura doesn't do it, Hidari doesn't.
Exactly.
You can't do it again.
Yeah.
Either Gaara or Konohamaru need to be devoured in this arc. If they don't, that
I completely agree.
And the question is, well, which? And I think both are entirely plausible. Ryu's probably not going to devour Konohamaru. Matsuri, we'll get to her in a minute. But between Konohamaru and Gaara, like I said, Gaara can't defend himself. And there's just less to do with his character. If I had to pick, I would say he's ever so slightly more likely than Konohamaru. And then it's okay, then with Ryu, it depends what they want to do. Because if Ryu is secretly a good guy, well, he's not devouring Gaara then. If he's freed, because he's the most likely to get freed, he's not devouring Gaara. Okay, so then it's Matsuri left to devour someone. She either devours Konohamaru or she devours Gaara.
When you say it's more likely...
just doesn't.
When you say it's more likely for Gaara to be devoured, do you mean like in universe or like story-wise? It should be narratively that Gaara should be devoured more than Konohamaru.
So in universe, 100%. Just no competition.
Whoa, wait. Hey, before that, why? Considering, yes, Ryu can free Gaara, but not only is Gaara not going to be unconscious, I don't think. It's likely going to be able to fight back. Not that it's going to make too big of a difference, but specifically because Konohamaru is tasked with defending Gaara, and Matsuri is helping Ryu go after Gaara. Matsuri's going to face Konohamaru in flesh before Shinki even has a chance to free Gaara to face him.
Well, no, because Ryu can just undo the jutsu with a snap of his finger, so that Gaara's just going to be freed.
He has to be there, and obviously that's just not going to happen until Ryu deals with the Konoha Shinobi, in my opinion.
Not necessarily. It depends on what they want.
Nah, bro. I can see it in my head right now. Ryu and Matsuri are gonna walk in. The Konoha Shinobi are just gonna jump down in front of them to be in the middle, and they're just not gonna do. Like, I can't imagine Ryu snapping his fingers with Sarada standing in front of him, and Gaara just falls from behind Sarada, and she turns around. That's not gonna happen.
Okay. So let me backtrack for a second. When we talk about story-wise and in-universe and likelihoods, should I be saying this from the perspective of a good story or Two Blue Vortex?
I was thinking about that as well, because that absolutely helps your case here.
Yeah, because some stuff I'm thinking is in terms of Two Blue Vortex, but other stuff is, again, I am looking at it from the what would be a good story thing they could do, which is mostly what I focused on. So that's also important to mention, because when I say likelihood, so like, again, in universe, well, of course, it makes from a sensible plot. Yeah, he's just gonna undo the seal and go after Gaara. But yeah, Ikimoto probably will just fucking have him not do it for no reason in the plot whatsoever. He just won't even address it. Yeah, probably. You're right. Which makes it tricky. But I would still say, though, it's probably more like... But then you have to look at, like, Matsuri's not even... So here's another thing, though. Matsuri's not focused on Konohamaru. For whatever reason. She just doesn't care. She wants to find Boruto.
Okay, to be fair, Hidari wasn't focused on Sarada until they were right next to each other. Matsuri's gonna do the same thing.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, bro. She's just oddly...
I mean, you think she's just not gonna react to her target right in front of her, trying to stop her in particular? It's not like the target's just sitting there. Target's getting in her way.
It's not that she won't react. I'm just skeptical that she'll become motivated to immediately devour him, because she's shown first of all, she has been the least interested in her target from the get-go. This is gonna sound stupid. You look at all the targets that everyone says. Mamushi, my target is you, Ada. Hidari. Sarada Uchiha is my target. Jura, I want to devour Naruto and blah blah blah. Matsuri, I might want to eat Konohamaru. Like, she has the most. It's just not really that focused on it. It's not like clear cut.
I feel like it's playing it up a little bit, but okay.
I am overplaying it, but the point is, she shows the least interest from the get go. She's never going after him at all. While she will react to him, of course, I imagine so. there's also the setup for Team 10 to get involved. Maybe they're going to fight her after Konohamaru's been devoured, hypothetically.
That's
but
the problem. Team 10 should have been here. Anyways.
Exactly, but they're not. And they stand no chance without Konohamaru. I think you agree with that. Fucking Gar and Shinki can't beat him. Team and Shinkicho's not. So if Konohamaru's devoured and they want to fight him, fine. But then it's the spotlight's going to get taken by Mitsuki or whoever who's there. I don't want that. I want Konohamaru plus Team 10. The final battle.
I mean, I'm sure you would agree. Gar is way stronger than Konohamaru, or should be, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Konohamaru stands no chance against Matsuri, and Konohamaru will get in Matsuri's way. And I'm assuming will just fight to the death to stop Matsuri. And so Matsuri's just going to win. It's like,
I don't know what will happen, but either way, I just don't know if she's going to devour him or if she's just going to, like, cast him aside for now. That's the thing. It just, until I see how she behaves there, that's going to help dictate things. But like I would definitely agree. It's Gaara or Konohamaru. Maybe both. Probably not. Probably just one, if I
doubt it.
And if someone was going to be freed from their tree, it's going to be Ryu / Shinki. 100%. He's the first. Most likely. Matsuri's not going anywhere anytime soon. And the others aren't relevant right now. And then story-wise, this is the big one. So in terms of good story, I mean, if you just remember the things I said in the video, I just see way more potential in having Gaara be devoured. No matter what they do with that, that's just the better option.
Well, maybe for future, but for this arc, it makes no sense for Gaara to be devoured. They're focusing on, like, romantic love, and we're having Konohamaru facing Matsuri versus Ryu trying to get to Gaara. Like, obviously right now, Gaara hasn't done anything in Two Blue Vortex. Konohamaru still has more to do, but, like, this is his arc to do something. In particular, specifically, not only is he here, but it's like the arc for him to do something. It's focused on love, so they're gonna give Konohamaru his thing. Then they're not gonna need him anymore. It's gonna be perfect time to discard him.
Not necessarily though, because it depends on what they do with the love stuff. Because hypothetically, whatever love stuff Konohamaru Moegi could be what influences Matsuri to do whatever she does that doesn't end up killing Konohamaru. You know, like, we don't know what direction they'll take that.
If they were going to do that, then I don't think Matsuri would have assisted Ryu in her mission, or this mission, I should say. I think that would have just been its own separate thing. Like, Matsuri just would have invaded Konoha separately.
Well, no, she's trying to find fucking Boruto. I don't know why. It's more that Ryu is assisting Matsuri than it is Matsuri assisting Ryu, because they're not in the cave with Gaara.
I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. I'm just being honest.
Know, but anyway.
Okay. So something that is relevant for this, which is also a low-key thing I want to talk about anyways. Do you think Konohamaru recognized Matsuri? He's looked at her and has had no reaction. Should he have had a reaction? And because he did he even recognize her to lead credence to the fact that Sarada didn't recognize Hidari?
I'm going to wait until they're up close because...
Yeah.
Because for all we know, it's just too far away for him to tell. She's also at a weird angle and stuff. I'm going to wait until everyone's up close, and if Araya Yoda recognized Ryu / Konohamaru recognizes Matsuri or whatever up close, then I'm yelling at Sarada. If they don't, then I'm not going to yell at Sarada for it as much, even though she still has the better opportunity to recognize things because Chidori, blah, blah, blah. I'm more so just looking at, like, how the hell did Code know?
Okay, so you're gonna hate me for this. You're gonna yell, you're gonna scream, you're gonna throw a hissy fit. Okay, maybe not that last one. Just want to throw it up there. Okay. Konohamaru should recognize Matsuri, knowing what we know about Sarada. Even though Sarada didn't recognize Hidari, Konohamaru should recognize Matsuri because of you're gonna hate this, because of romantic love.
I'm not gonna hate it because I completely agree. Like, it should happen.
Well, no, but again, the problem here is that because I'm getting at the idea. It's like lovers separated by fate. Of course, he's gonna recognize Matsuri. If Moegi reincarnated into an insect, then Moegi would pick up on the insect's nuanced, subtle cues of its body, behavioral language. Unlike Sarada and Sasuke, that wouldn't have happened because that's different. Like, I feel like there's a visual sight indicator here, especially the fact that Matsuri, this is ridiculous, but Matsuri, like, knows, remembers, could see, recognizes Konohamaru, whatever. Unlike Hidari, just it's weird. I feel like it's like, again, it's like star-crossed lovers and a tragic tale of destiny, intertwined, separated unfairly. They're gonna go this route, and that's what Konohamaru and Matsuri are probably gonna talk about.
I expect Orion Yodo to recognize Ryu as well. I hope they do, so that I can just release the Sarada is stupid video that I waited on since chapter 11. Because at least that'll have my confirmation that she's just dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm expecting too. Anyway,
glad we agree.
Getting back to the Matsuri devouring Gaara thing, more than anything, is just what I want to happen. I personally want Shinki to be...
yeah.
I mean, I'm perfectly okay with Ryu devouring Gaara and they do whatever they do with it. But I would rather Shinki be freed, because the character Shinki is the one who is established as incomplete in the story. This is another thing you addressed. You're talking about the complete. I wasn't talking about the manga being complete. I was talking about characters being complete or not.
Well, that's why I was talking about future stuff, because I knew exactly this was the direction you were wanting to go in.
Yeah,
because of this reason.
Yeah, like Shinki needs to grow as a character. Why would you just remove him in favor of the Shinki copy? Why? It makes sense for Hidari because Sasuke's finished. Same with Gaara as well. No, not the Shinki. What are you doing?
Yeah, but see, that's part of the reason that I'm against you on this, is because they've already done this with Shinki and not Gaara. Because they made that choice, that's part of the reason I'm against you.
Yeah, and
it's going with what they've already done.
I wanted Gaara to be it from the get-go, but at least in this case, they could play into this works in my favor. What happens when you free the Shinju with Shinki and then transition into Gaara being devoured. Like, if that works really well for my taste, but I don't know if they're gonna do it. And obviously I also just like the shock value like ending of like Matsuri's like, fine, I'll devour him instead, you know, kind of thing. That just, I like that as a villain. Like, that's cool for me.
Bro, I'm sorry. Matsuri's not. I cannot see Matsuri of all the Shinju doing that. If anything, the bug Shinju would be the one to be like that. Matsuri's the most level-headed, tempered, sophisticated, matured, I feel, Shinju. She's not just gonna steal Ryu's target. And this is the thing about the Shinju. They feel like they have a... Even then, I can't see her doing this unless she's just giving up her her humanity based on whatever happened with her conversation with Konohamaru, assuming she doesn't devour Konohamaru. But I don't see that as likely because the Shinju have some strange devotion to them, I feel like. I can't pinpoint anything in particular, just very subtle behavioral cues, it feels like that. That might just be the Japanese culture rubbing off on the story in general, but it feels like they just have a sense of respect for one another, in a sense. Even the bug Shinju has been overall respectful to the other Shinju in comparison to everyone else.
Well, you call Hidari a bastard, but I don't blame him.
I don't even know that's like correct translation. It's like, is that even what he was getting at? I don't know. Whatever.
Either way, yeah, like I said, I didn't specify what's the most likely. I just gave the possibilities and like ways they could work narratively. And, you know, like you said, I liked the one where Matsuri devours Gaara. That's the one I want now. I'm not saying it's the most likely. Technically, Ryu does it, but I want it to be the other.
Okay, now I'm going to move on to the most important reason pushback against this. Arguably the reason I wrote this in the first place. And again, you're going to hate me for this, considering this whole conversation could have been avoided entirely based on this. But the reason I wrote this is because of your grammatical syntax. Because of the way you worded it, it implies that Gaara is in danger of being devoured by Matsuri or others currently in the present. Not in the future, but right now. And no, Matsuri is not going to devour Gaara anytime soon.
No, but again, though, like, but the problem is you're starting with Matsuri. I said he's in danger of being devoured. That's the first sentence. Whether I know,
but then you give context. Yeah, by Ryu, by Matsuri, by whoever. The point is, he's only in danger right now of being devoured by Ryu. He's not in danger of being devoured right now by Matsuri or anyone else.
But my statement is Gaara is in danger of being devoured. Period. whether it's by Ryu, Matsuri, or someone else, he's the most vulnerable target among the Shinju. So
okay,
the
yeah, and I didn't ever have a problem with the first statement. I'm not saying Gaara, Kamui, you watch the video, Gaara's not in danger of being devoured. No, I'm saying that Matsuri is not going to devour Gaara.
But the
first statement isn't in question.
But the second sentence isn't stating that Matsuri will devour him. It's whether it's by basically anyone that isn't Hidari, because Hidari's too stupid.
Yeah.
She's the most vulnerable target to be devoured. It doesn't matter who does it. He's in danger.
I understand. But the second sentence is relying on the context of the first sentence. You can't say the second sentence without the first sentence. Doesn't make sense.
I mean, technically speaking, I might have used a dash. Let me check the script, and then you tell me.
Okay, well then even better. Then it's all one sentence if that's the case.
Well, let's just see what it says. No, okay,
yeah,
it's
I don't know why you'd bring that up.
It's a different sentence.
Okay, it's a second. Okay.
The dash is danger of being devoured. Whether it's by Ryu, Matsuri, or someone else, Gaara is the most vulnerable target among the Shinju.
Yes. So I agree. Gaara is in danger of being devoured. I think Konohamaru is more vulnerable right now.
I have the counter to your thing. Okay.
Not even Himawari.
I didn't say the whether it's by Ryu, Matsuri, or whatever puts him in danger. It's that he's vulnerable. He's a vulnerable target. He is vulnerable to Matsuri, even if Matsuri's not after him. I just said he's vulnerable to her. That's true. There you go.
Define vulnerable as you used it in the video. What did Kamui mean by vulnerable?
He's unconscious and can't defend himself right now. Right now, he is unconscious. Can't defend himself. But you,
he is defended right now. Matsuri needs Ryu to get Gaara.
He's not defending himself. He's defended by Shinki.
He's defended.
No, but I said.
So he's not vulnerable.
Yeah, he is. He's vulnerable because Ryu can undo it.
Once he undoes it, then Matsuri is getting to Gaara vulnerably. But until then, Gaara is not vulnerable to Matsuri.
Well, unless Matsuri hypothetically can just like break the seal in some other mechanic that we don't know. But
if she could, then she already would have, I think.
Why would she? She's too busy looking for Boruto.
Okay, then why'd she fight Gaara in the first place?
Just for shits and giggles, bro. I wouldn't leave.
But she's too busy looking for Boruto. She can't shit or giggle.
Well, yeah, can you prove that? Okay, anyway.
Stupid.
Moving on. Okay.
Yeah.
This one you were just not listening to. Shinki / Ryu as an individual is absolutely the same generation of the other Shinju Oodie. I want you to go ahead and tell me why you either were just trolling me or did not listen for this one.
You absolutely said something akin to that. But go ahead, tell me what you said in the script. Prove me wrong.
So, I will try. I don't know. It's gonna be hard for me to find it. I'll look for it to get the word for word.
Just look up the word generation in your script. You'll probably find it like immediately.
Okay, I'll just see this.
But yeah.
Okay, hold on. Whoops.
Definitely implying that Ryu's a different generation.
No, because okay.
Maybe he wasn't the first 4 born.
So.
But he's in the same generation.
So what I'm getting at is the person, so like Moegi, Bug, and so on, are Sasuke are from an older generation than Shinki. That is the point that I was referring to in the first place. It's Bug.
Okay, Bug is definitely not of the same generation. I'm sure we agree with that.
Yeah, and neither is Sasuke. The way that they use generation in Naruto, Sasuke and Moegi are a different generation from Shinki. They're all older generations from Shinki.
Yeah, and then Bug is a different generation from Sasuke and Moegi. Yeah, so I feel like that point is too ambiguous to make, as it is.
No, because I didn't say anyone was in the same generation. I just said as long as it's from an older generation than
read the sentence in the script.
Which would be shown symbolically by Shinki eventually overcoming one of the Shinju, as long as it's from an older generation like all the others so far. What I'm referring to is the people. So Moegi is the older generation Shinki, Sasuke is older generation the Shinki, Bug's older generation the Shinki. The 10 Tails itself is probably an older generation the Shinki.
Okay.
So that's what I'm getting
now,
at.
based on that, you can say it again. I want the audience to listen. Based on your wording, it's clear to me you're referring to the Shinju, not the original people that the Shinju come from.
That's fine. If like that's a misunderstanding or whatever, that's fine. Either way, Ryu was born in a separate birthing cycle. You could still argue that for the Shinju, that is a new generation.
Not. Okay, then Hinata's a different generation from Naruto because it's not the same birthing cycle, same day.
I would treat it more like flies when they give birth to like a bunch of fly eggs, and then 2 days later they're doing it again. They're different generations of flies, you know.
Okay, then are we gonna do the generations in 4? Like, is the one after Shinki gonna be a part of the same generation or a third generation? Because it's not at the same time as Shinki.
We'll have to wait and see how they do it, because maybe. But if they do it like, you know, way later, then Ryu might just be the singular one of his generation.
Sure.
So we'll have to wait and see how they do it. But anyway, okay. That's that one. And then what's the other stupid thing? Oh, right. Konkuro is absolutely acting Kazekage, not Shinki. I wasn't saying that Shinki is currently it. It's just that if he's freed, he might take up the mantle.
Were you saying that? Because I think you also missed one. And I also didn't hear that because I was trying to read what was not being said by you.
You said Konkuro is absolutely the acting Kazekage, not Shinki. So the way you wrote it is implying in the present moment. I never once said that Shinki was currently the Kazekage or anything like that.
Okay, go find wherever you say the thing in your script.
It's just about him becoming Kazekage if he's free.
Yeah, it's implying that he's going to be the next one after Gaara, when it absolutely would be Konkuro. Absolutely, without a shadow of doubt. In fact, Konkuro's already acting as one, considering he's calling Shikamaru. He's the leader of the village, head person doing it. In the same way Shikamaru took over after Naruto because he was the advisor. That's just how we've seen that work before.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Konkuro will choose to be Kazekage the same way that they just had Gaara be it and Shippuden instead of Konkuro, who was older.
Yeah, and Shikamaru hasn't chosen to be Hokage, but he's still acting Hokage. Yeah. He's not Hokage yet, but he doesn't want to be. Yeah, he wants Naruto to be it, but he's not really a choice.
Similarly, Konkuro could act as it until Shinki's freed, and then let Shinki do it.
Doesn't matter, I'm saying right now.
Again, I didn't say Shinki was it right now. That makes no sense. He's a tree.
Yes.
Again, that's what I said from the beginning. Stands. I'm trying to look for it.
Okay, and when Gaara's freed, he'll be Kazekage again.
Not if Shinki takes over, or not if Gaara dies.
Yes, if we're doing the comparison to Shikamaru with Naruto.
Okay, but like, where did I write this? Just so I can just read to you. That's why I said like I okay, let me just search Kazekage.
You could tell I had a lot of problems with this video.
I could tell you what.
There's like 4 different podcast topics in addition to like the 2 or 3 comments on the video I left.
So when I said, okay, so in terms of the plot, Gaara being devoured can present several new elements. So being devoured either means he's become a Shinju, he dies or whatever it's gonna do.
Yeah. So Gaara's devoured.
The Kazekage is gone in this case. So now they need another, most likely Shinki or Konkuro. And given the narrative elements I described earlier, this is after Gaara's been devoured and Shinki's been freed, because this has already been explained in the video earlier, as I said, it would probably be Shinki, which also parallels Gaara becoming Kazekage around Shinki's age for similar reasons. That's all that point was.
Yes, based on the unlikely outcome you presented earlier, then yes. On the almost guaranteed chance that the one that devours Gaara would be Shinki, then Ryu would still be there and Shinki would still be sealed.
Yeah, but again,
therefore it'd be Kagura. But that's what it already is.
But that's not listening to the context of what I'm going through are reasons why this would be good and interesting. This is using that hypothetical. Yes. So.
But this is also going based on the first premise of the thing from your perspective rather than from mine.
But you're judging. First of all, you're misquoting the video, but you're judging what the video says.
There's no quotation marks here.
And ignoring the context, you're double wrong.
Oh, yeah, I'm ignoring the wrong context. Okay, conflict. Percentage-wise, let's say Gaara is devoured by either Ryu or let's just say a different Shinju. I'll even give you a leg up there. What are the percentages-wise that you think the likelihood between the two are?
Between
How does the 100% split between between Ryu and someone else?
I can't say until I really just see more of Ryu's personality, because
I would say 95%.
No, because for example, if the theory that Ryu is like basically Shinki is true, he's not devouring God. 0% chance, for example.
No. That's not what I was saying. I wasn't saying the likelihood of Gaara being devoured. I'm saying if we know that Gaara is devoured,
exactly.
like Ikimoto just tells us
again,
but no other context.
And if Ryu is actually Shinki, he's not devouring Gaara, making it 100% another Shinju in that case. So that's why I said I need to see more
That's
Ryu.
not gonna happen though. I don't think so.
Who knows? But either way, that's why I would like to just see a little bit more from him in that case, as well as you know. But yeah. That would just personally influence my percentages in that case. But either way, then moving on, so we can move along before I refill some more food. Okay, you said, this is the last one. Of course, a Shinju devouring their target will do something different than a clock rhyme. First of all, they don't use their mouths. Secondly, they don't become a tree or spawn a new Shinju from them or develop a new target. We know Jara wants to devour the target first before Nisuki, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so a couple things.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
First of all, I'm saying it should be something different. First off, so I agree. Granted,
you agree.
Granted, I don't trust Ikimoto to not just do the same thing, but it should be different. I 100% believe it should be. Whether or not will. Okay, whether or not they use their mouths is irrelevant because they just do wood-style tree shenanigans. Literally, look at Jura's. Jura's case, he literally is making a Himawari tree all the same, so I wouldn't use that argument. Second, they don't become a tree or spawning new. We don't know. They haven't done it yet. So get used to it.
Okay, but we can make likely outcome theory-wise based on what we've seen and stuff.
The ones you've seen are Hidari and Jura. In the case of Jura, absolutely, Himawari was becoming a tree. And by that logic, they could just make a new Shinju.
Yeah, they got me while I was looting.
If you're going to use Jura's case. Hidari's a little bit different because he makes the wood from his hand, and it could easily look like he's sucking Sarada up into himself. So Hidari's is definitely different from Jura's. But in the case of Jura, he is the Ten Tails, and he's making nourishment, blah, blah, blah. It could send back to the Ten Tails that he is, which is also not... It makes no sense anyway, but he's both the Ten Tails and
first of all, do you think Jura or Hidari began devouring their targets? And I don't mean the process. I mean Sarada and Himawari were devoured, and Hidari and Jura got a part of that, in the same way that the Ten Tails got a part of the 8 and 9 Tails chakra.
Nah, because they didn't do it. If they were going to go that route, they should have done something, no matter how small, have a reaction to the fact that this happened. They haven't done anything. So
I agree. In that case, I think that sort of takes away that current argument that you're doing, because the clog rhymes, the moment they bite someone, it's like they turn into a tree. Whereas Hidari and Jura, there's no even slow process going on. No process at all.
It just takes longer for whatever. In the case of Jura, though, like the tree was still forming. It's weird. Either way, again, I completely agree. It should do something different from the clog rhyme, in some way at least. Even if it has the same end result, at least the process should be different. But I'm just recognizing that they theoretically could do the same thing, as boring as that be.
It's not going to be the same thing because they want to find their identity first. I think they can do that through the target. Then afterwards, they plan to devour Boruto and Kawaki. That end goal hasn't changed. They all still want to do that. Or at least feed them to the Ten Tails. Can't do that if they're a tree.
Yeah, but that doesn't really have any bearing on the way that the devouring works and what. Again, I agree. It should do something different. They should gain something. It shouldn't just be new Shinju. Like, they should absorb something into themselves and whatever that does from there. I'm just saying that it's technically possible he'll just do the same thing, as boring as that be. That's all.
At the very least, it's clear that the Shinju aren't interested in biting their targets, at least at first.
Well, if you count
be a
Mushi's
separate
hand
thing.
as biting, then maybe him.
Okay, I know you haven't seen Dragon Ball, but it could be similar to like absorbing, similar to what a Cell or Boo does, to where they're like, it's similar to Jugo. Jugo devoured that samurai in the 5 Kage Summit Arc. It could be like that.
He just doesn't gain anything besides his body.
Yeah. If anything, I'd like to see Jugo talk to the Shinju about that.
Literally,
that'd be cool,
bro. Because his powers are like similar to like the Ten Tails in a lot of ways. So.
It's like nature energy. What's in nature? Trees. There you go.
Or just like Jugo just has like basic nature energy. It seems like he just has. Maybe Jugo has Ten Tails nature energy, Earth nature. I don't know what it is. Whatever he's got. Either way, that covers the video stuff. So direct me to the next topic so that I can go away.
Well, hang on. First, before that, I will say also another thing I was thinking about when I was. First of all, can you still hear me? Because I messed up my phone a little bit. Okay, cool. I randomly opened my camera app, so I just want to make sure. Okay, so another thing I was talking about with that is that it would be ridiculous if a Shinju devoured their target, turned into a tree, and then that made a Shinju tree to where a Shinju squared spawned based on that original person that had his own target. Like it's the same exact thing as a claw grind. That's just an endless cycle.
Yeah,
but that's the endless shadow clone.
Which I don't want.
That's not going to happen. For sure not going to happen.
I don't trust, but I hope not.